ever wondered what really happens when you vanish from someone's life? I'm not talking about fading slowly or texting less. I mean, one day you're there and the next, gone. No warning, no explanation, just silence. In a world where people think they can treat others like disposable options, disappearing isn't weakness. It's power. It's clarity. And today we'll break down the 9 things they feel when you stop showing up and start showing self-respect. If you've ever been overlooked, taken for granted, or made to feel like you're not enough, this video is for you. Comment below, "I'm done being an option." Because by the end of this video, you won't ever be one again. 1. The shock of losing control. They didn't see it coming. In their story, you were the one who always stayed, the one who texted first, the one who forgave, the one who waited. They built an entire emotional system on the idea that you would always be there, like gravity, like clockwork, like a backup generator. They only remembered when the lights went out. But now, you're gone. No fight, no explanation, just gone. At first, they freeze. Then comes the confusion. Are they mad? Are they testing me? But when the hours turn to days and the days into a week, something else creeps in. Panic. Because now, for the first time, they don't know how to control the situation. You were always emotionally available, always responsive, always reachable. And that gave them power. Not in an evil way, but in a quiet, taken-for-granted kind of way. Now that power is gone. The person who always stayed didn't, and it shakes them to their core. It's not just that they lost you, it's that they lost the version of themselves that only felt safe because you were still there. And here's what hurts their ego the most. You didn't need closure. You didn't scream. You didn't beg. You just left. When you walk away without a word, it says more than any goodbye ever could. 2. The emptiness they didn't expect. They'll smile on social media, they'll laugh louder than usual, they'll tell their friends, "I'm fine, it was nothing." But that's not the truth. That's a performance. Because once the crowd disappears and the phone screen goes dark, the silence creeps in. And inside that silence, emptiness. Not the kind of emptiness that's loud or dramatic. No, this one is slow, quiet, gnawing. It shows up in random moments, brushing their teeth, lying in bed, driving past a place you once went together. They start to feel something is missing, but they can't name it at first. It's not just your presence they miss, it's your essence, your voice, your grounding energy, the way you made them feel like they mattered. They try to fill it with distractions, a quick fling, a weekend trip, more scrolling, more noise. But the void stays. And with every attempt to escape it, it only grows. Because here's the truth they never wanted to admit. You weren't just there. You brought meaning. You brought peace. You made their world feel safe. Now they feel like a house with all the lights off. The furniture's still there. The walls still stand. But the warmth, gone. What used to feel normal now feels empty. Because your energy was the difference. 3. The curiosity that consumes them. This is when it flips. At first they were sure they'd be okay, but now they need to know. Where are you? Who are you with? Are you happier now? They start checking your social media like it's a full-time job, scrolling through old photos, rereading old texts, wondering how they missed the signs. They ask around casually, but it's never casual. Every "Hey, have you talked to them lately?" hides a storm beneath the surface. You've become a mystery, and people are obsessed with solving mysteries, especially the ones they caused. But the beauty of your disappearance is this: there are no clues. You didn't leave breadcrumbs. You didn't leave a door open. You vanished with elegance and finality. Now, their mind becomes a prison. They imagine you smiling without them, thriving without them, healing in ways they never helped you do. That image haunts them more than any angry word ever could. And here's the kicker. They don't just want you back. They want the access back, the ability to know, to check, to monitor. And now, they can't. The less they know about you, the more they spiral. If this video is speaking to something inside you, If you feel the truth in these words and you want more content that cuts this deep, take a second to hit that subscribe button, not just to support the channel, but to help us create more powerful content like this. Content that wakes people up, sharpens the mind, and speaks to the soul. 4. The mirror of self-reflection. Silence is not just absence. It's a mirror. And when they look into it, they don't like what they see. At first, they try to justify your disappearance. Maybe you're being dramatic. Maybe you're just trying to get attention. But with every passing day, that excuse gets weaker. Because now there's no more noise, no more messages, no more arguments to deflect from the truth. They start to remember the ignored messages. The nights you reached out, but they were too busy. The times you spoke your heart and they rolled their eyes or gave half responses. Back then, it didn't seem like much. But now that you're gone, those moments feel enormous. They start replaying them like old tapes in their mind, over and over. And the more they rewind, the more they realize they weren't just passive, they were careless. And now, with no one to argue with, no one to explain it all away, they face the one person they've been avoiding all along, themselves. And what they see in that mirror? It's uncomfortable, it's ugly, it's honest. They realize you were never asking for too much, you were just asking the wrong person. And they were the reason you finally walked. Without your presence to blame, they're left facing the reflection they spent years avoiding. 5. The urge to chase what they lost. After regret, something shifts. The urge to chase kicks in, and this time they're not subtle. It might start with something small, a like on your Instagram story from months ago, a random message late at night, hope you're doing well, or a meme that they pretend to accidentally send you. But every move they make is calculated. They're hoping to spark something, a reply, a reaction, a sign you still care. But here's where everything changes. You don't respond, because you've outgrown the version of yourself that would have jumped at crumbs. You're not looking for half-love anymore. You're not curious about why they suddenly remembered your existence. You see the pattern. Regret doesn't equal change. Desire doesn't equal respect. They want the access back, not the responsibility. And deep down, they know it. They know they treated your loyalty like a given. They know they didn't water the connection until it withered. Now they're chasing shadows of what they once had. But the door they once ignored is closed, not locked in bitterness, but in self-worth. If they wanted to keep you, they should have valued you when they had the chance. 6. The fake sense of freedom. This is the phase where pride puts on its best performance. They post stories of them laughing, going out, living their best life. They say things like, honestly, it's for the best, or I needed this space anyway. On the surface, it looks like confidence. But it's not. It's camouflage. Because when the music stops and the likes fade, what they're left with is silence and freedom that feels more like loneliness. They thought walking away from emotional connection meant relief. But now they're realizing what they called space was actually your absence. What they called independence was the start of isolation. And the people they try to replace you with, they don't match your depth. The flings feel shallow. The new conversations feel forced. Because no one else understood them the way you did. No one else made them feel safe like you did. You weren't just company. You were comfort. You weren't just attention. You were alignment. You were home. And now they're locked outside with no key, pretending they never wanted to get back in. Temporary distractions don't heal permanent losses. 7. The return of manipulation games. They'll never admit it, but they're struggling. And instead of owning their emotions, they do what insecure people do best. They try to play games. You'll start seeing it. Suddenly, they're more active on social media. New photos, new people, new captions like finally putting myself first or surround yourself with the right energy. But none of it is real. It's not healing. It's performance. The truth is, it's bait. Every post, every story, every vague quote is a fishing line, cast out to hook your attention. They're hoping you'll flinch, like respond, say something, anything, because the moment you react, they feel relevant again. But this time, it doesn't work. Because you've seen the pattern. You've played that game before, and this time, you've walked off the board. You're not biting, you're not watching, and that's what makes it all fall apart. Because for people who rely on manipulation, silence is the one thing they can't twist. When you don't engage, they lose the illusion of control. And now, they're stuck playing a game with no opponent. When you stop reacting, they lose the only power they ever had. 8. The crushing silence. People fear silence more than they fear confrontation. You see, arguments come with noise, drama, attention. But silence? Silence is dangerous because it forces people to sit alone with their guilt. And right now they're drowning in it. They expected you to call, to plead, to demand answers. That was the cycle they were used to. Push you away, watch you come crawling back. But this time, there's nothing. No text, no missed call. Not even a sigh of acknowledgement. Just a heavy, echoing void. And here's the part they didn't plan for. That void grows louder than any words ever could. It's not the noise that breaks people. It's the stillness that follows after. Every notification they check hoping it's you. Every quiet night where they're alone with the very thoughts they used to ignore. That's when it hits. Not just your absence, but the silence that says you've moved on. You didn't block them in rage. You didn't ghost them in weakness. You simply outgrew the noise. And now, they're the only one left listening for a sound that will never come. Silence doesn't mean weakness. It means you finally found your strength. 9. The fear that it's really over. Here's where it all crashes down. Up until now, they've tried to convince themselves they're in control, but suddenly that illusion shatters. Because now they feel it. Not just regret, not just missing you, but fear. The raw, undeniable fear that they've lost something permanent. They start to wonder, what if you've moved on? What if someone else has your smile now? And that thought? It haunts them. It's no longer about ego. It's no longer about pride. It's about deep, irreversible loss. The kind that sticks, the kind that can't be fixed with an apology. They remember the moments they overlooked you, the ways they minimized your presence, and now they see someone else giving you what they couldn't. That's when the panic takes over. They might reach out, beg, write long texts, even show up in person. But it's not out of love, it's out of fear. Fear that you finally realized your worth. Fear that you don't need them anymore. Fear that you won't even look back. And here's the truth. They're right. When you disappear, they finally see what they had and what they'll never get back. Bonus number 10. The power of your emotional independence. This is where everything shifts, because while they were spiraling through confusion, regret, and fear, you weren't waiting. You were evolving. You weren't checking your phone for their message. You were checking in with yourself. You weren't chasing closure, because you realized closure isn't something they give you. It's something you give yourself. This entire time, you weren't disappearing in bitterness. You were returning to yourself, to your center, to the version of you that doesn't need to beg to be chosen or prove your worth to be loved. You began to build something more powerful than attention, clarity, more attractive than beauty, peace, more seductive than desire, self-respect. You stopped asking, why didn't they choose me? And started asking, why did I choose to stay? You realized that love without mutual respect is just emotional labor. That presence without reciprocity is self-betrayal. And that your energy, your time, your heart, they are sacred. And not everyone deserves access. From this point forward, you're not waiting to be seen. You're choosing who gets a seat at your table. You're not proving your worth. You're protecting your peace. You're not the person they let go. You're the person they'll never have again. Because you didn't just walk away, you leveled up. Stillness doesn't make you invisible. It makes you untouchable. If this video hit something deep inside you, if it stirred a truth you've been ignoring, that you've been giving too much to people who only noticed your absence, not your presence, then this is your moment. Not for revenge, not for drama, but for awakening. You don't need to scream to be heard. You don't need to prove your worth to people who refuse to see it. The act of disappearing isn't about hurting them. It's about healing you. It's about ending the cycle of overgiving and under-receiving. It's about choosing yourself without guilt. Comment below, "I'm done being an option." Let it be your declaration. Let it be your turning point. Because Stoic spirit isn't just a channel. It's a brotherhood of men who've stopped begging to be chosen and started choosing themselves. Men who don't chase attention but command respect. Men who don't react but respond with calm, control, and clarity. You don't rise by shouting louder. You rise by becoming quieter, stronger, deeper. You rise by becoming someone they never imagined they could lose, and someone who no longer needs them to win. So if you're ready to walk this path, to sharpen your mind, fortify your heart, and master your energy, then subscribe. Not just to a channel, but to a new way of living. Stay calm, stay grounded, stay powerful. Your silence isn't the end of the story. It's the beginning of your legacy. We'll see you in the next one.